Plants comfort us in different ways. They give us soothing presence in our spaces. Some plants are a reminder of grief, a memory of home. Some serve as a great help remembering where we came from. There are several times in my life that I kill my plants, regardless of those plants being easy houseplants. I had a tendency to overcare them. Too much of a good thing is bad. Too much water, too much light, too much fertilizer. As time goes by, any physical changes in plants is a reflection of our own personal growth, a reminder that we have learned from our past failures. In this video, I thought I'd bring you along. I'm going to be reporting some houseplants to the thrifted pottery and also share my thoughts on indoor plant care. When it comes to shopping, I usually thrift online for many of my stuff, and that includes plant pot and catchpole. There are two reasons I love about buying secondhand or thrifted products. One being a uniqueness. These intricate details and imperfection are filled with history, something that could only be achieved with time. The second aspect is that they are more affordable, at least where I live. I know that vintage objects can be pricey when shopping at an antique store, so I tend to buy from someone who is either decluttering their homes or their grandparents' attics. This way I can get stuff a lot cheaper. By using these ramekins and cups as a plant pot, I decided to not drill drainage holes because I was afraid that I would break them. I know I have mentioned in my previous video on how important drainage is for sowing seeds. This is a slightly different situation as these are houseplants. I would recommend a beginner plant mom or dad to go for a pot with drainage. Though I'm far from houseplant expert, I thought I would bend the rule and see how it goes. If the plants don't manage to survive, it will serve as a learning experience for me. I also heard that you can put lava rocks at the bottom of the pot to help with drainage for those pots that do not have drainage hole. I also love the natural look and practicality of terracotta pots. Over time, they develop mineral deposit, which gives each terracotta pot a unique personality. This is a philodendron totem that I got. I love their leaves and I think they kinda looks like one of the Pokemons. I preserve moss in this candy container. I've learned to use some topping to the surface of the soil to make it more interesting. I also use peat moss to top up, but I try to be mindful with the amount that I used. There's so much work and meditation that go into making these pottery, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why so many people, including myself, have appreciation for handmade pottery. This is an old stoneware Dijon mustard pot that I thought it could make a great plant pot or catchpole. not sure if anyone can relate, but plant shopping for me is highly addictive. I found myself spending so much time on the internet to buy more and more plants. Plant for me is a good spending, and I don't feel so bad for splurging money on as compared to other stuff. But money doesn't grow on trees. I mean, at least for me. So I try to be intentional with new plants that I'm getting. I found that another way to get more plants is to propagate your existing plants, and to make it more interesting and less repetitive, you can display them differently. As much as I would like to choose beautiful, aesthetic, artistic pots for my plants, I do keep many of them in their nursery pots for the longest time until I find a pot that I love and that I can afford. Sometimes I left them in their nursery pots for 2 solid years. I was told by a houseplant grower that for slow growing plants, we can leave them in the original pot for a year or 2. About 4 years ago, I got my first houseplants. I was so excited that I gave them too much water, and some died horrible deaths because of overwatering. I'm still learning on how to take better care of my indoor plants. I used to grow some of the species back when I was in Thailand. When I was little, I grew them with my dad in our backyard. Over the year, I have grown confident that I could take good care of plants, but that wasn't always the case when I moved overseas. Different environments require different care. A subtropical backyard where I used to grow my plants, and an indoor continental climate where I'm growing my houseplant are not the same thing. I found that it's extremely important to know your home environment, lighting, and humidity. We can get tips and tricks from houseplant enthusiasts, but at the end of the day, we don't live in the same environment. I found that the learning lesson that stick with me the most, it might not be the biggest profound discovery, but definitely the one that I learned best from, is to learn from someone else and my own mistakes when it comes to plant care. I hope you enjoy and learn something from this video.